Yo, what's up, guys? It's the MMA Analyst here to just give you a quick topic video. I didn't do a recap for UFC on FX3 because it was horrible. It was just not good, and I basically ranted about it with Manny David, who is another MMA YouTube video predictions guy like myself, on the podcast, which is now available and will be available by tomorrow on iTunes. So anyways, so you guys can download that and hear how frustrating it's starting to become watching mixed martial arts. Still my favorite sport. Still, I love it. Still important, but I'll be damned if it's not testing my patience. So anyways, I have a podcast, basically it's called, the issues with MMA, or what could be fixed, or the problems, and that's basically what the whole podcast is about, minus talking about Manny Pacquiao Brandley fight for a little bit, and whatever else. So anyways, I figured since that's up, I might as well let you guys know. At the same time, I think what I'll do is whenever I have the podcast up and there's nothing going on that week, I'll just do a quick video of something that's not in the podcast, or something I forgot about in the podcast that I can talk about now. So what I'm going to talk about real quick, and before I actually talk about it, which is going to be Shogun turning down GLOVER TEIXEIRA, I'm going to say something about why I can't put it up on YouTube. The podcasts are always going to be at least an hour long. Some podcasts, if I have the interview, it's going to be an hour and a half long minimum. My last podcast was almost 2 hours long. Now, for those who don't know, when I'm doing a video and it's a 10-minute, 15-minute video, that video, when I render it, it takes 45 minutes to render for 15 minutes. You say 15 minutes, 45 minutes to render. All right. Now then you figure how long it's going to take to render a 2-hour video. All right. What about the fact that when I'm done rendering it, I have about a 500 megabyte file that I compress to Flash, which is FLV form, which brings it to about 300 megabytes. That's for 15 minutes. Now you tell me how big the file is going to be for a 2-hour video, or how much I have to compress it in order to get it to be small enough that I can put it on YouTube. Because I know I can't upload a 4 gig video on YouTube. I don't know what the current limit is, but I know I can't upload a 4 gig video. I also know how long it'll take. When I upload a 15-minute, 250, 300 megabyte YouTube video, that takes about a solid, let's say, 45 minutes to upload. So I got 45 minutes to upload, 45 minutes to render. That's just for the 15-minute video. And then I got a 300 megabyte file. That's for 15 minutes. So, we're talking, we're talking, man, not to mention my computer. I can't be making 40 gig videos, every week. So just the time of it alone would take way too long. It would eat up my computer. It would eat up my ability to do anything on the computer, and I just can't do it. So, so that's why it has to be a podcast if I'm going to do 2-hour long videos in the current state that I'm in. If something goes really well and somebody wants to, help out in a certain way, and I can do this more of a full-time situation, then I can take the time of my day to do a 2-hour video. Or if I had somebody else I was paying to, do all of the editing and the uploading, that'd be a different story. But if I'm doing it all by myself, what you guys are gonna get is a notification of a YouTube video, and it's gonna, or of a podcast MP3, and I'm gonna have you guys go to it. So that's the way it's gonna be. I could put up an MP3 with just a picture of a face for YouTube, which would be considerably smaller, but I don't want to do that. So there you go. By the way, you hear all these birds chirping. It's because I got this window that it's got like the little California shutter type. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I open it up, and then the leaves are a little growing too much, so they kind of went in the way. So when I tried to close it, I can't close it. So I got leaves pushed up against my damn, the little screen, and I can't close this door. So now we got it sound like the birds are just chirping away, and they are. The birds are chirping. You know it ain't the ghetto. You know what I mean? Because the birds are chirping right outside my window. But anyways, Glover Teixeira, Shogun. Real quick video. It's already been too long because I've been talking about all types of other stuff. Yo, Shogun. Yo, why won't he fight Glover Teixeira, man? Oh, he's not the fighter he used to be. He's a little hoe. He's scared. All this stuff. Look, all right, here's the situation. Shogun Rua, no matter how many losses he's had recently or who he's lost to or whether he can be a champion or not, he gets paid $150,000, $200,000 a fight. He is a big name based on his excitement, based on who he is and what he's done. Glover Teixeira is just an extremely difficult fighter in general. Now, can Shogun beat Glover Teixeira at this point in his career? I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to, whatever. No, that's not the point of this. The point of this is that Shogun is fighting, and part of why he's fighting is for money. And if Shogun goes out there and accepts a fight with Glover Teixeira, who A win means nothing for Shogun, and B, a loss can mean everything, it's a bad situation. What do I mean by a loss can mean everything? Okay, so let's say he goes out there and he fights Glover Teixeira and he loses. Now, the UFC fans, the casual fans, don't know who this guy is. Simple as that. And his stock drops. Now, he's coming to the end of, contract, and he says, okay, let's renegotiate. Well, you just lost to a relative nobody. So we want to give you significantly less money. They said, well, why would he take a fight with Brandon Vera? Well, because Brandon Vera is a bigger name and, not nearly as difficult. But he could probably beat Brandon Vera. The winning over Brandon Vera is significantly more of a thing. Like, I beat Brandon Vera. It doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't mean much to most fans out there. But on paper, and when it comes to beating other names, it's kind of like a win over a win over Tito Ortiz is bigger than a win over Glover Teixeira. A win over Brandon Vera is bigger than a win over Glover Teixeira. A win over almost anybody at this point means more on paper to the casual fan for his name, for his brand, than a win over Glover Teixeira. And a loss to Glover Teixeira is worse than a loss to anybody right now, including Tito Ortiz, because at least people go, he lost to Tito Ortiz. And the other way to be like, he lost to that guy. He got knocked out. I don't know. He's just some mean-looking guy with crazy striking. I think he might have fought twice in his career. So that's the reason why he cannot take this fight. He's going to get paid $150,000, $200,000 to fight a guy who's maybe getting paid $20,000, $30,000 max. So if he beats that guy, it doesn't help him with his rankings. It doesn't help him with his pay, with his salary. It doesn't help him anyway. It's not like beating Glover Teixeira is going to give him a pay increase when they renegotiate. So it's pretty much a business move for Shogun. Whether or not he can beat Glover Teixeira, it's not even what matters, because if they said, we want you to fight John Jones again, which most people think he can't beat, he would take that fight. So it's not that he's afraid to lose. It's not that he's afraid to get knocked out. He doesn't want this is my opinion, his name to be damaged greatly by losing to a nobody, quote unquote. We all know, I know that Glover Teixeira is a tough fighter, all that good stuff. But that's not the point. When you go to that when you go to that table against, Dana White and the Fertitta brothers, and he done left his manager, he left everybody, he's basically by himself right now. He needs to not go there with all the chips stacked against him. All right? So that's the situation there. I think it's a very smart move to not fight Glover Teixeira. Remember what happened the last time a Brazilian who was a highly ranked Brazilian lost to a nobody Brazilian? And remember what happened there? It was Fabrício Verdum. He had just signed a 6-fight contract. All right? It was his first fight. He lost to some bum with, no solid record in his UFC debut. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Junior Dos Santos or some bum like that. Then he gets knocked out by some uppercut from some guy who can't even box. Obviously, hindsight, we know that's not the case, right? We know who Junior Dos Santos is now. But at the time, he was just some guy that beat Verdun. They said, Fabricio, we want to cut your pay in like half. We want to renegotiate after one fight. We're going to cut it in half. And he said, what? No, I just signed a 6-fight contract. Ain't no way that's going down. Anyways, so what happened? They cut him or they released him. He went over to Strikeforce, did his thing, beat Fedor. Now he's back. By the time he gets back, the guy who was a nobody that beat him is now the champion, one-time defending heavyweight champion. Now, could Glover TEIXEIRA be the champion in the future? Maybe. Is he going to be a contender? Oh, he's definitely probably going to be top 5 after a few fights. But for Shogun to be that sacrificial lamb / now we get to save money on Shogun, because now instead of paying him $200 a fight, we can pay him $100 a fight or $75 a fight because he lost to relative nobody Glover TEIXEIRA. Nah, Shogun, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get used. And the fans out there don't understand this. They just think it's all about mano-y-mano. Shogun will take any fight with anybody if he's a man. Who's calling me, man? I told this dude, man. All right. Who's calling, if he's a man, he'll take this fight. If he's a man, if he was the fighter he used to be, he would take this fight. Yeah, if he was the fighter he used to be, as in a lesser known, not making as much money, not as secure as he is now fighter, yeah, he would take this, but he's not. He's Shogun, former UFC champ. He did win, right? Yep. And he fights big names. He fights big names. He fights Dan Henderson. He fights champions. He fights John Jones. He fights, Rampage, or at least he will. He fights Machida. He fights, that's who he fights at this point in his career. He does not fight Glover TEIXEIRA. If Glover becomes a challenger one day, and a loss to Glover will not vastly, decrease his income and namesake, then he will fight Glover TEIXEIRA in the future. So there you go. I like this video, to be honest. I like this little rant I did. I'll pat myself on the back. There you go. BetMMA Radio every single Tuesday. Check it out. Download it. Subscribe on Podbean if you want. Definitely subscribe on iTunes. Rate. All that good stuff. All right? MMA. It's important. Peace.